Hey, what's up guys? Matt here with Fix Anything Save Money. Today we're going to be showing you how to replace the carburetor on this Ryobi BC30 trimmer. So this is actually the one that has the brush hog attachment. You can see that. So we're going to be walking you through this process step by step. So if your machine is kind of bogging down, it won't start, it's running really rough. One of the things that it probably is the carburetor, and it's either dirty or there's certain things that could happen inside to the diaphragm that could require a full replacement. So this video is going to show you how to replace the carburetor on this to get your machine back up and running. It's pretty simple. So we'll dive right into it. You can see here I have this replacement carburetor. This is made by a company called Hypa, and they make small engine parts, carburetors, for trimmers, lawnmowers, a whole bunch of different types of small engines. So be sure to check out their website, and I'll put a link in the description where you can check out their website. So we'll dive right into the video. So the first thing we're going to do is remove this cover, and to do that we're just going to press down on this little black tab and then just fold this down, and you can see it just comes out from these hinges right here. So then to put it back on, you just kind of put it in like that and then fold it up, click it into place. This is actually an aftermarket cover that I picked up. I think the original one has like a sticker that tells you about the choke and all that, but this is just an aftermarket one that I picked up. Okay, so now we're going to want to remove these two nuts right here, and those are 10 millimeter. So we'll just rotate them counterclockwise to loosen them. Okay. And then we could go ahead and actually remove them by hand. Now when you're doing this, I always recommend dumping out your fuel into an oil catch pan or some sort of container, because we're going to be removing the fuel lines in a second. So if you have fuel in your tank, just empty it out into something, remove the cap and just tip it up. Okay, so those two nuts are out. We just remove this cover, and this is the actual filter here, this little screen. So now's a good time to kind of clean up all that, clean out the screen, and what that's going to do is expose our carburetor. So we'll set the camera up so you can see a little better. Okay, so now the only thing holding this carburetor in now are our fuel lines and our throttle cable. So the easiest way to remove everything is to remove the fuel lines first. So we're just going to take a small screwdriver and we're just going to pry out these fuel lines. But first, let me just describe what each one does. So this fuel line on top, closest to the priming bulb, that is going to empty any excess fuel in the carburetor back into the tank. So you can see here, this line right here comes down into here, and it just terminates. The line just empties down into the tank about an inch in, and we could kind of show you that. If you could see it right in here. That's where that line ends. And then the line down further, that actually sucks fuel out of the tank and loads the carburetor with fuel, and you could see that is connected to our fuel filter. So if you're wondering about the configuration, how this goes back together, that's how it works. Okay, so now we're just going to take our flathead and we're just going to pry each line off. And I just replaced these fuel lines, so they're going to be easier to take off. So there's one. That would be our overflow or discharge, whatever you want to call it. And then here's our actual fuel line that takes the fuel up. Okay, so now the only thing holding in the carburetor is the throttle cable. So we'll kind of turn the machine so you could see, because this is usually what I get the most questions about, is the throttle cable. So I like to just remove this right from these bolts, and then you could just maneuver this, just kind of twist that up, and you could see how the throttle cable has that little hook on it. So then when you go to put it back in, you could just put it in like that. Okay, so you're kind of just moving the carburetor like that. Okay, so we'll just set that up there for now. We could put our old carburetor to the side, and we're going to take our new carburetor and we're going to install it the same exact way we just took it off. So we'll start off putting our throttle cable, and we're just going to hook it in like that. And then we're just going to put the bolts through those two holes. Get our fuel lines out of the way. And then I like to just kind of push this in and then just pull this trigger. Make sure that it's moving freely. You don't have any snags or hang-ups. You can see we're good there. Okay, so now we could go ahead and hook our fuel lines back up. So like I said, this front one right here, this goes into this bottom. So we'll just push that all the way up. You want to get these lines up as high as you could get them. You don't want any fuel leaking. And then we'll take our other one, put it up. Now I will say, if this is like, if you bought this second hand or whatever, the line might be a little bit, these lines, if they were replaced in the past, they might be configured differently. So just always look and make sure whatever line is connected to the fuel filter in the tank, that's going to go to this bottom nozzle right here. And then your discharge is always on the top right here. So if you're, not replacing the fuel lines, when you take the carburetor off, just inspect these fuel lines. Make sure they're not dry rotted or cracked. Mine were, so I had to replace them. Okay, so now we could put this back on. That just goes over those two bolts. And then we're just going to take our nuts and thread them on. There's one. I like to just get them hand tight, and then we're going to take our 10mm and just snug them up. Okay, and then like I said, our cover, we're just gonna put our two hinges down, kind of fit them inside of those two grooves, and then just push up. And you might need to take this choke lever and just kind of move that out of the way to get it in. Okay, so there you have it, guys. That is how you replace the carburetor on this Ryobi BC30. If you guys have any questions at all, be sure to reach out in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And you can see here, when this is all the way down, it closes that screen when it's open. So this would be our choke on. When the engine's cold, we would have this down, and then our normal running position would be up. Okay, so if you have any questions on that, just let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if this video helped you out, guys, be sure to give it a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out all my other tool and DIY videos. I'm going to be posting more videos on this, how to do, a tune-up, just kind of change the plug and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, like I said, let me know if you have any questions at all on this. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.